A show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on JTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, the Wellness Center, Medical and Behavioral Health Clinics, Ticely Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, HOV Medical and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment. This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. Thank you so much for joining us for today's edition with me. No stranger to the set, Bishop John Ivan Cline. It's been quite a little bit.
Quite a little bit.
Quite a little bit. What have you been up to?
Oh, well, you've seen the big splash with the transition from senior pastor into my son. After that, I left. I was in St. Kitts, Barbados, Guyana, Mexico. I've been all around.
You free up to run around.
Free up. Some ministry, some business. But, things have been good and still have to help the young man find his wings and support him as much as possible. But there's no shortage of things for me to be involved in. And of course, the political season has opened.
Yeah, so you've been keeping an eye?
Oh my goodness, it's crazy. I can't say all, but...
but what can you say?
What I can say is it's a very critical election. I believe that we must elect a group of persons this term that will provide proven leadership to take us forward. It's not only about COI and all of that. It's about where is the BVI going and who will be the one to create the vision and point the way, chart the path for us to get there. And I don't believe that's a job for novices. And I don't believe that we can just leave that up to another 4 years of just spinning. We have had Irma, we have had COVID. It's time now for us to move this country forward. And this election, the voting population need to be very, very intentional. They need to be intellectual and engaged. They need to make an intellectual decision for this country. If we don't, we will continue in reverse, because right now the country is in reverse. We're not even at a standstill. The country has regressed. And I don't say it lightly. I'm not here bashing any party. We need people to provide the necessary leadership to deal with the UK, to deal with our local
the needs of the territory.
We're just not in a good place.
So if I'm to understand from you, or you can clarify for me, you talk about a regression. When you, in your mind, that regression took for it worse, is it with this current administration? Well, I should say the following the last election, or was this something that started in the previous administration, the body that was elected in 2015?
I think it started in the last year of the previous administration.
Previous as 2015 group, or?
Yeah, that 2015 up to 2019 group. I think it started in the last year.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. because they had become comfortable with where they were and what they were doing. They had become almost little political gods unto themselves. They weren't listening to the needs of the people. And they were just doing stuff that I believe was not moving the country. We weren't, let's say they brought the country to a halt. And I think the regression started with this administration. So in the last year of their administration, yes, we had Irma. But there was a sense, and people don't vote people out who are doing a good job. But I must say this. We elected this present government on a false premise. And the false premise is this, from my point of view. The former premier that got himself in trouble would stand in the House of Assembly and he would make a comment that says, the present then administration, the 2015 administration, NDP government, was the most corrupt government in the history of the Virgin Islands. And guess what? He sold that to the public. And we bought it. We bought into that narrative because he said it over and over again. And he said that they should be investigated. He needs a commission of inquiry. He needs the judicial review. He wanted everything. And we bought it, and it was a false premise. But, you know, sometimes when you go out so hard against something, you have to ask yourself, what are you trying to hide? And that was quickly revealed in this administration.
What was revealed?
Well, that one, what he was saying was not true, because now I think what we have seen with this administration is a level of mismanagement. I'm not going to say corruption. I'm going to say a level of mismanagement that in my 30, almost 40 years of being back in the Virgin Islands, I have not seen. When it comes to the, you know, the $40 million plus dollars, when you see the scholarships and reward list that's come out, and I am not against helping people. We've always been a country who help people go to school and educate. It's done all over the world. But to the level it was taken, I believe is an abuse of taxpayers' dollars. When we had to deal with the fishermen, fisherwomen, farmers issue, I believe that's an abuse of the public purse. And then we begin to see, now we have this big debate in the House of Assembly about the barges and the contracts, Easy Shipping Limited, and the current premier saying it was a mistake or he's sorry, and almost behaving like he wasn't in the room when the decisions were being made.
The Claude Skelton
and the
Cline.
same thing with Claude Skelton Cline. How could you, let's say Claude Skelton Cline, how could you award 3 consecutive contracts? And would you say you made a mistake all 3 times? If I give you a contract for a year and you are not pleased with my performance, then I don't have to renew it. But what they did was renew the contract for 6 months, split the dollars, and then give another 6 months. And now you want to cry foul the onus of that report is on the government. It's not on Skelton Cline. It's on the government because you were the one who awarded, if it was one contract, Kathy, and you said, okay, after review with the PS or whoever it is supposed to provide the necessary review or get the reports, we aren't pleased with this. You would have cause for pause, but that didn't happen. So either they were negligent or they were pleased. They signed another contract. That one got done, then they signed another contract. And then you're going to get up in the House of Assembly and almost want to insult the intelligence of the voting population of the Virgin Islands and say to us, we made a mistake 3 times. And somehow Skelton Cline is a bad man because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Well, that's not how it works, really. Because if I hire somebody and I pay them, they don't deliver, I fire them. Or I don't renew their contract.
So it means that they're saying that I was satisfied with whatever was delivered to me for the first contract.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with what was delivered to me
For
for
the
the second
second
contract, and so I give you a third.
And I give you a third.
But then the report says otherwise.
The report says otherwise. But if I were looking at it, people are looking at Skelton Cline. I'm looking at it from the government standpoint, that they were negligent. They are the ones who are given the responsibility of ensuring that when they spend the country's money, we get value for dollars. You are the one. And if you're not doing that, then it means you're not fit to lead. So when you add all of that up, monies from Social Security, monies for grants and awards, monies for fishermen and farmers, contracts awarded for millions of dollars for barges and contracts and all of that. No. And now you're saying to us, give us another chance. Well, we don't have that kind of time. No, we don't have that kind of money to be guessing. The country's not in that place. And you know, my name was called in the House of Assembly saying that, you didn't know that?
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, yes. The Honorable Premier got up in the House of Assembly and said, the reason why the Honorable Member from the 2nd District is not saying anything about the Skelton Cline contract is because Uncle Ronnie and Uncle John, which we are his uncle, told him not to speak on the contract.
Is that the truth?
That is a complete lie. I don't get involved with that stuff. And I know Ronnie has more integrity than that. But he made it look like it was the truth because he said, let me tell you what happened. And this is what happened. And if he was on the campaign trail doing that, I understand the rhetoric that can happen on the campaign trail. You don't get up in where we call the Honorable's house, doing the people's business and try to deliberately mislead the people by making statements such as that. And in the process, implicating persons who have nothing to do with your contract awards to shift the blame as to why a member is not speaking or to cover up your bad decisions. No, you don't get to do that. So all of that shows me a level of guilt and incompetence that I am not prepared to support. I'm just being very, very frank. There's not everyone on the team is I would say, is incompetent or even guilty of anything. But when you're going to, as a team, sit and see all of this going on, and you support it, and you don't say anything about it, I have to hold you just as guilty by association or accomplice to the mismanagement that has been had. Obviously, the member, at-large member, Flax Charles, felt it wasn't something that she could any longer go along with, so she defected. I can have a lot of respect for persons when you send them to do a job. Stand up and say, some of these things are not right. I'm on a team, but this is not right. And I am not prepared to undermine the strength of my integrity or the trust the people have put in me to just support it for party's sake. I'm not going to do that. So I have a lot of respect for persons who will stand up and say, party or no party, wrong is wrong. We have a country to build. We have generations coming behind us that need to inherit an economy that is growing and expanding, where we are creating jobs for children coming out of high school and college, people who want to come home. We were just speaking about that. Need to be able to come home to meaningful employment. We cannot just be bogged down with the minutia of politics over year after year to the tune of $1.6 billion, $400 million budget every year for our roads to be in the condition it is, to see the regression in healthcare, to see our beaches and our oceans, the quality of our water, which is one of our greatest natural resources, where we have revenue coming in from tourism product, hospitality sector, being every year degraded. But we can find money to do all kinds of things, and the stuff that should be important to this territory, no one is paying attention.
Now, while you say all of that, I am, some bees follow my ears ever so often, and they keep saying, well, but say what you want to say, the Virgin Islands Party going back into government following its elections. What are your thoughts?
Well, the thought is not unfounded, because you still have a great divide on the other side. You still have PVIM and you still have NDP. And if they can't find a way to close ranks and work together, the possibility of that happening is there, because the VIP is a very strong party. No matter what they've done, there's some people who don't see country. They have no idea, and they're not concerned about what's good for this country. The only thing they're concerned with is if my party in power. And you have a great block of the voting population that's like that. They don't care. Humpty Dumpty could be the head of the party. They would still vote for it, because their elementary mind has not matured past party politics and see we have a country that needs to be saved. And if, as long as you have that, and that's a reality, then you have the possibility of what that person is saying. So it is incumbent upon the other side, these are the two parties, to form some kind of coalition, get the best of the bunch, and come forward. Or else be prepared to spend a lot of money to sit in the opposition.
And you think that there is still the possibility of that coalition happening? And I'll tell you what I heard. When we first heard of of negotiations happening between the PVIM and the NDP to come together as one. You were the key negotiator. Then you went off to ministry and St. Kitts and where else, and even to my home country, Guyana, and the whole negotiation fell apart. Is that true?
Here's what I would say. I would say that at any time I'm called on to act in the interest, in the national interest, in the interest, in the direction and the good of the territory, I will show up and do my best, no matter who calls me. Let's say the VIP call me and say, we need you to help us weed out some of this stuff and change our image. I will talk to them. So when I'm called upon, I'm there.
Were you called upon?
I would say that there have been discussions that I'm aware of, and I give my opinion.
Okay.
As to what I think should happen. I always indicate to all sides, I'm not on any party. I'm not on any executive of any party in this country. NDP, VIP, PVIM.
PU.
I am not, I don't sit in any room when they're making decisions to elect candidates. That's not me. But I believe that I have a role to play in helping to shape the narrative. I believe people only call me because they trust my voice, and they know that whatever advice I give would be in the interest of the country. I'm not trying to get your party elected.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the best group of persons possibly elected. And just like we have a unity government now, if we could have a coalition to move the country forward, that's what we need. It is not a party that moves the country forward, it's people.
It's not too late for that.
No, it's not too late.
It's not. PVIM would have presented their list of I think 8 candidates so far.
They can change.
It can change.
Of course.
Okay. And on the other side of things now, there is this feeling that there is going to be some spoilers in this election. Some names are calling for really top positions in government. We're hearing that Honorable Premier is going to go back he's going to be re-elected. We're hearing Ronnie W. Skelton is a very likely candidate to get in there. We're hearing that Mrs. Lorna G. Smith is a very strong candidate to get in there and seen as one of all the women, one who can stand the international pressures to represent this territory. We hear that she can get in. We're hearing that, what's her name, Ingrid Moses-Scatliffe is a force to reckon with for senior cabinet positions. What are your thoughts on those 4 names that I would have called?
The experience, the political experience is there from some of the names. When it comes to Ingrid Moses-Scatliffe, who served as the Speaker of the House, being exposed to the governance structure and what's necessary, hearing the debates to move the country forward, being a lawyer herself, those are the kind of people you really want that are clear thinking, and not only clear thinking but forward thinking. If you have a Ronnie W. Skelton where we sit now is evident of his ability to grow something from nothing, or what his father left to develop the family business. He's a tried and proven leader. His integrity is intact. He has vision. When I was at HSA, the person that took us to Pittsburgh University, Panama, Tehama in Puerto Rico, Baptist in Florida, to say, y'all need to look at what these people are doing. One, form relationships. Two, let's get some best practices from these people, bring it back home for the good of our people. Because the only thing I want is I want quality and affordable health care for the people of the Virgin Islands. I can follow vision like that, that is clear, that's decisive, that's moving forward. When it comes to Lorna Smith, she long history of permanent secretary, working in the finance industry. You can't discount her years of experience by any means. Whether that translates into votes, I'm not sure. The current premier.
Before you move off of Lorna, her experience internationally, how you see that being key to the situation that we're facing now?
Well, I think you need strong people in the room. However, I don't feel that you need to be elected to lend a voice. I believe if you have, let's say we have to go to the UK to negotiate, the government, whoever they are, can always pull people with the necessary experience and knowledge to sit around a table. I don't feel they have to be elected to do that.
Premier.
Right. The premier, that's a tough one.
Why so?
Because I believe that while he has been thrust into the position because of what happened to Andrew Foy, and he has probably done his very best to help navigate a very difficult situation with the COI and the pressure from the UK to do this and to do that. I question his recent presentation in the House of Assembly in terms of another 4 years of that. I don't know. I just.
But like you said, he was trusted into that
Yes.
position at a very short for a very short time. And like you said, people do grow, people gain experience, and they move on. So, having served a one term, you don't think that there might be some?
There might be. I'm hoping that he has gained some experience and knowledge that will help him to govern better. I'm going to judge you based on what I see presented now in the House of Assembly. And I'm going to also judge you on your ability to walk and chew gum at the same time. Leaders must be able to manage in a crisis. And even though there's a crisis, the country should not either come to a halt or go in reverse. And that's my issue with the current administration. The unity government is there, but right now they're really just marking time. Really and truly we are in a lame duck, what the US call a lame duck session. Nothing will get done here until the next election. So might as well they dissolve the House of Assembly and everybody go on the campaign trail, and let's hear what they have to say and take us into a next election. Wheatley still have political viability. I believe. Is that at the head of the ticket? For me and the years that I've had, I think I need more decisive and visionary leadership. I would like to see for myself. He tries, but we can't continue trying. You need tried and proven.
So you need mature. You don't need babies.
No.
They're very young.
Yes.
A very young team.
And they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And they have good hearts. They're good people.
Yeah.
But what we need is people who can create. We need to expand our economy, Kathy. We need this country to create an environment where it's not so difficult for foreign investment to come in. It doesn't have to take you 6 months to get a work permit. It doesn't have to take you, after you get your work permit, another 3 weeks to have an immigration interview to get you on your job, while hospitality industry is only 6 months, but you are taking 2 of that 6 months after I apply for a work permit or immigration to just process it. By the time I get the person in my store or on my job, the season is over. So I either have to send them home and force them to look for another job, so I'm back at the same cycle, because the person can't stay home for 4 months hoping and wishing. How are they going to feed their children? They have to go find something to do. By the time the season starts again and I apply for the work permit, I'm in the same cycle. And if our ministers and policymakers and civil servants don't understand how the country runs and what it takes to support a hospitality industry, given the short span of its season, then we're going to be in problems, you know? And we need people, when foreign investors come, to say to them, listen, we need a commitment from you over the next 10 years of $10 million to support roads, to support healthcare, to support education. You can't just come in and tell me you're creating jobs for my people when most of the jobs you're going to create are domestic jobs. That's not good enough for me if you're building a $100 million hotel. We need people who will say to them, we welcome you, but we're giving you something. We're giving you an opportunity to generate millions and millions of dollars.
Millions and millions of dollars that we need, and the red light is just pinging on me there. We have to
we're done.
Yeah,
oh my
we
goodness.
have to continue this conversation, and it's heyday for this House of Assembly. March 12th is just
today. Is it?
Today is it. Today
Okay.
or Friday is it? Today or tomorrow?
Okay.
It depends
Okay.
on if the House rolls over to tomorrow. But we're at heyday. So House is definitely going to be dissolved, and we're heading into a general election for 2023. We will have more conversations on this, because I know you have a lot to share.
I have a lot to share, and
yes.
I can't share everything now.
All right. So when the talking season breaks,
yes,
in its true sense, we'll be back. And I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050.
Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year.
Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.